Greetings, this is Frosty Thundertrod, and today I am wearing both of my hats as a video game creator and as a proprietor of Thundertrod Permaculture. In this regard, I have accepted Krustoo Farms Homesteading Survival Challenge, and here's the rules. Map any, I'm using the Michigan map. Game mode, start from scratch on that. 500,000, which you can see up there in the top corner I got. Zero debt. Economy any, I set it to normal. No loans, no leasing. Contracts, own equipment only. Seasons must be on. Starting month is January. Other settings optional. So let's go into the settings here. Alright. So seasonal growth is on. 1 month, 1 day per month. Snow is on. Crop destruction is on. Periodic plowing is off. Fieldstone is off. Weeds is on. Disaster destruction is enabled. Dirt is normal. All this stuff is just general settings. Field info. Monetary unit is dollar. Measuring unit is miles, Fahrenheit, and acres. We gotta use the freedom units. Radio is off. Easy arm controls. Lumberjack. Precision farming. Alright. Controls. Where is the one that affects autosave interval? Traffic is on, seasonal growth, no crop. Automatic engine start off. Alright. So now I need to get time set to Alright. Gotta get time set to January. Actually, I'm not gonna do it this way. Bring time back to 5x. What I'm going to do a little bit different is my backstory is that it's based on my real life here. I'm going to be a truck driver that is retiring from the road. So I'm going to start off with my old truck. See, in real life, when I got my CDL back in 1996, my first truck was a International 9600 cab over, which was the immediate follow-on to this truck here. So I'm going to modify the rules slightly and say that this semi is going to be my starting house. But by year 2, when I'm required to get married, I have to have a real house. So let's go ahead and sleep away until January. I like that it actually puts me inside the truck. That was a great detail with this mod. So now we're up to they'll give to November. Another rule that I'm making is no John Deere. As much as I can, I'm going to try to stick to my favorite brands, which is going to be Ford, New Holland, Oliver White, and my other favorite brand isn't in the game, that's David Bradley. Although some of the lizard items suspiciously look a lot like David Bradley implements. Okay, December, so one more month. Okay, so here we are, January. Let's see what's on sale to start with. Sprayer and a cultivator. Alright. Both of those stuffs are kind of useless. So, now I need to choose a plot of land around 10 acres. So, I have 46, 7, 4, 5, 26, 31, and 30. So of these, well, 5 is a problem with 5 is it's wooded, and the same with 26 is they're both wooded lots. So that would give me a huge boost up just having all that wood there. So my first lot is going to be number 4. Although as I say that, say first, it's going to be only because I'm not allowed to buy any more land or buy any productions from the map. Area bridge. Now the semi, other than giving me a place to sleep and being, a familiar comfort of my past 10 years of my life, it's really impractical here for a 10 acre homestead. And so here it is, my new home sweet home. This is obviously an Easter egg due to this map. Although, that's kind of weird that the current goes both ways in this canal. Let's see at the land here. Nothing planted. So let's go ahead and purchase soil information. Okay, so top half is loam, bottom half is sandy loam. So overall I got pretty good soil. Got a little bit of meadow grass up here. Alright, the objective for this challenge is every year you must collect and store enough food for your growing family. Your family is growing and they are increasingly need more food, more choices. You can produce additional crops and products to sell at the market stand, but only after you've met your food store needs. You can keep dairy animals through the years, but the meat livestock must be sold in December. In December, you must sell everything in your inventory so that each year starts fresh. You can use the money to further develop your farm. The idea is that you consume these products, but you will also need more money to evolve your farm. This keeps you focused on your farm. Alright, so for the first year, I need 5 pallets of eggs, 2 pallets of honey, 5 pallets of strawberries, 5 pallets of lettuce, 5 pallets of tomatoes, 2,000 liters of milk, cow or goat. It's gonna be cow. I hate goats. Little noisy escape artists that die at the drop of a hat. 2 beef cattle at least 8 months old. Okay. So the biggest problem I'm gonna run into here is that I literally have nothing here. I have one big empty field. And since it's January, nothing can be harvested and nothing can be planted. Constraints, no AI workers until year 2 when your spouse joins. Then you can only have 1 worker at a time. You cannot purchase any more land. So this field here is it for all 3 years. You cannot purchase map productions. Any productions you use must be placed on your land. You must produce your own food, and you may only buy farm products externally. Seed, fertilizer, etc. You may not use unrealistic equipment or productions. No high output greenhouses. You will need to power your farm, set up some solar or windmill energy at your discretion. Yeah, while I'm a homesteader myself with Thunder Tribe Permaculture, I am not a off-grid homesteader. I love the grid. Seriously. Any sort of off-grid thing I do is normally just to either reduce costs or give me a backup in the event of storms. I know the quantities are not very realistic from a real-life consumption point of view, but the challenge has to be challenging. The toughest part of the challenge is picking the right map and property. That said, some maps have cheap property prices, some very expensive. Keep that in mind. Yeah, well, I chose the Michigan map just because I live in Michigan, and of the various Michigan maps that are out there, all made by the same guy, Frankenmuth, Michigan Prairie Farms, and just plain Michigan map, I like to just play Michigan map best. Now there's a few things that I'm required to place right away. Alright, I must purchase land plot, got that. 10 acres, got that. Purchase and place a house. Well, I'm using my semi as a house. one shed, one grain silo, and a market stand sell point at the road. Remember, money to be used at your discretion. Remaining money to be used at your discretion. All right. So, now I gotta think ahead a little bit. That's north, right there. So that means this way is west, and that's the prevailing wind direction. So I want to make sure that my animal products, my animal productions, are either north, south, or preferably east of my house. That way the wind is blowing the aroma out over the field and not into my house. So I'm gonna move my semi here. And I'll put up the production point. The sell point, I mean. Granny's farm shop decorated. Alright, that sounds good. That can go right there. Make a nice little gravel parking lot for him. For my customers. There we go. Now let people come in, they have a place to park. Holy shit, that was expensive. Alright. Down to 284,000. Now I need a shed. And I'm going to go with a fairly nice shed. First one I'm looking in here is 25,000. Here it is. I'll put that like right here. Okay. Now I need a silo. So I want a traditional looking silo. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with this one here. I see silos like this in this area all the time. Most of them are no longer in service. They've been replaced with more modern grain bins, but silos themselves are still around quite a bit. There we go. So now I have house, sell point, shed, silo. Let's find myself a tractor. So that's 18,500. Let's take a look at medium tractors here. I mean, the white is a very obvious choice to try to go for. It's part of the Mercedes-Benz pack. Although, I've seen a few Unimugs around, but most of this Mercedes-Benz stuff I've never seen in this area. Yeah, I love JCB tractors, but it's too expensive right now. I thought there was a Ford in here, but I guess not. Now I'm very tempted to go with the white. Let's check large tractors. Because sometimes when you go with the older tractors, a medium tractor is cheaper than the newer small tractors, and a older large tractor is sometimes cheaper than the newer medium tractors. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have to go with a small. I'm gonna start with the 7810. Yeah. All right. So it looks like 150 is the top. Oh, I like the silver exhaust. Uh, Rear weight, don't need a rear weight. Yes, add hydraulics. Front weight. Yeah, big front weight on this. Front load attachment, lizard, quickie. All right. Uh, okay. Yeah, New Holland Blue wasn't so blue, was it? That air breather is such a weird position. Don't see much point in putting a rear weight on, considering that's where all the weight's gonna be. Well, I guess there will have a front end loader. All right. So now I got myself a tractor. Pretty cool tractor, I gotta say. About the right size for, perhaps just slightly big for a 10-acre homestead. Now I'm allowed to do contracts, but I have to own the equipment that I do contracts with. Plowing. Wood transport. Alright. So, next I'm going to need a water tanker. Barrels. Alright. This one doesn't work. Oh, but I do know something else that will work. It's in the same general category. Let's see here. Trailers. Here we go. Yes, old wooden wagon. There we go. I don't think I'm going to need a wood transport, but a regular hauling trailer would be nice. I like power heroes. 8 meters, 350, 250, 93 meters. How much is this? 3 meters, 100, 4 meters, 160 horsepower. Yeah, I like power heroes because they stir the soil instead of tilling the soil. Let's go look at a disc harrow. 4.5 meters, 150. I think I'm gonna have to go with this one. I'll probably use this for contracts a lot. Okay. If I was gonna, I like spaders for plowing work. This one I think is kind of 5 meters wide, only 100 horsepower for 4,500. That's kind of unreasonable. Most of these are just set up just like rototillers, which that's not quite how spaders work. Now, come planting time, I'm going to need to be able to plant some stuff. A weeder. I want a hoe, though. Oof. Not $95,000 worth of hoe. $36,000 worth of hoe might be doable, but not yet. Not a fan of the black smoke blowing out the stack. Diesels really only do that if you tune them specifically to do it. The whole reason you get black smoke blowing out like that under normal usage is because you're injecting more fuel than air, so the fuel can't completely burn into the combustion chamber and ends up burning in the exhaust manifold instead. Now, sometimes when you get hard on the accelerator, you will get black smoke out the exhaust. That's just because, you hit the um, accelerator hard and you're dumping fuel quicker than it can suck air. Although there are some people that seem to love the idea of rolling coal, even though they're just destroying their engine while you're doing it, and your fuel economy, and your power. But bring up the other trailer. Very accurate to Michigan roads, all tore up. Main Street. I'm gonna just leave these wagons outside. While in real life I've backed up gravel trains. Trying to do that through a mouse and keyboard, however, is not fun. Plus, in real life, you'll usually have a locking pin on your converter. That's not an option here in Farming Simulator 25. Alright. So now let's build a greenhouse. Large tarp greenhouse, that'll work. So the water feed is on the end, and the pallet should spawn right alongside the road here. Alright, so I'm going to start strawberries, tomatoes, and lettuce. In a purely going for profit, you would just pick one since greenhouses are a divided production, so every time you start a production it divides it up. But I need to get 5 pallets of each of those things before too long. Alright. Now, while I can probably get water out of the canal, it's a pretty deep canal. So I'm going to put up a water tower. Containers, yes, that's where it is. Alright, rotate it so that the tank is towards the road. Just like that. Pop. Make a few more trips. I don't want to completely fill it up and risk leaving any water in the tank here. Because with these weather conditions, I definitely don't want water left in the tank to freeze. Let's see how much is actually in there. Oh yeah, I got a lot I can put in yet. One thing I'm concerned about is the root vegetable requirements for year 3. Because root vegetables are just stupidly expensive to produce normally. Unless you use one of those greenhouse mods, so I'll look into doing a greenhouse mod. I'll try to find one that's, you know, got a fair output. Because the problem with a lot of the greenhouse mods on the mod hub is they have incredibly insane outputs that just completely destroys any sense of suspending the sense of disbelief. So, all right. That should be enough water to get through this period. I'm going to hold off on buying any equipment until the moment that I need it, just because of the fact that it might come up on sale. Chances are it won't, but if I wait till I need it and it doesn't come up on sale, I lose nothing. But if it does come up on sale, then I've gained something. Car came out of nowhere, almost crashed into me. Alright, let's check see if there's any cultivating contracts available yet. Plowing. I don't have a plow and I don't intend to buy a plow. A little bit chilly out here in short sleeves and being on an open cab tractor. Jump in the truck here to stay warm. Fire up the heat. I'm going to go ahead and put down the dairy slash cattle barn. Cows, so I need one that has milk. That's a breeding barn. Breeding barn. Alright, well, slurry and milk. Good. And I can have customized pasture. Leave a gap here for no, I don't want to custom. Yes, I do want to plant a meadow. Alright. That way the meadow can start growing for when I actually get cows in there, and they'll provide me some food for them right away. No point, no point in putting chickens in yet, since I have no way to feed them. This is kind of muddy and sloppy right now, but eventually... Yeah, see, I'll put my house like right up in here. That way the cow barn is north of us, so when the winds come out of the west, they'll blow the aroma that away into the field and those trees back there instead of into the house. Well, I don't think I really have anything else to do tonight, so I'll just climb in the truck and get a good night's sleep, and I'll see you next month. Thank you very much for watching.